This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Let's BOGO! The Hoppin' Goods sale at Designer Shoe Warehouse is on. Buy any pair of shoes in-store or online. Get a second qualifying pair 50% off. Yep, must-have sandals, sneakers, and more from brands you love are buy one, get one 50% off at DSW. But only for a limited time, so hop to it. Fill your basket and score BOGO 50% off at your DSW store or DSW.com.
Discover the art of adventure in Cedar City and Bryan Head, Utah. Here you can discover Southern Utah's first artists at the Parowan Gap Petroglyphs, or carve a fresh trail at Bryan Head Ski Resort. Paint the town red perusing Cedar City's unique shops, museums, and savory bites. Marvel at nature's masterpieces at nearby Zion, Bryce, and Kolob Canyons, and be mesmerized by the endless starry nights at Cedar Breaks National Monument. Your inspired adventure awaits. Plan your trip today at visitcedarcity.com.
Bonus Bucks is back on KFAN. We have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday. That's every hour from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. 10 are keywords to learn more. Head to KFAN.com. Bonus Bucks is presented by BigDeck.com.
Russo Radio, Las Vegas, nice enough to get up early for 9 to noon at Russo Hockey via Twitter. And Michael joins us now. I started with Kevin Gorg a couple of hours ago with the same thing, just to hear how you lay it out. But early mornings in Las Vegas before the clump sets in and the air is crisp, it's just fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, I've already taken a walk this morning. Went to my one of my two favorite Starbucks near my hotel, and talked to an agent already. And yeah, nobody's on the street. It's perfect. I love this time of year in Vegas. About a month from now, it becomes ungodly, but right now it's beautiful.
Have you done anything fun outside of the Wild game?
No, I've watched a lot of hockey. I went out a couple nights ago. It was fun. A bunch of us, including Gorg, went over to Westgate and watched hockey all night. I can't remember what day that would have been. Probably the day before the game. And last night did the same thing. Had a couple good meals, but pretty tame. The trip so far.
Westgate's fantastic. It used to be the Las Vegas Hilton, which is by, I think it's an Italian restaurant that still is there, Piero's. And at Westgate, Jeff Sherman runs the sports book. I don't know if you know him or not, but he's a wonderful, wonderful man. So next time you're there, say hi to Jeff, all right?
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. It's funny that you said that, because the last time I was at this hotel, it was the Las Vegas Hilton. And it was so long ago, I saw David Brenner doing stand-up. And I think David's passed away. I think he passed away 5 or 6 years ago now.
Wow.
But he used to have a residency there. I think he actually lived there. And so it's been probably about 20 years since I was actually down there.
Yeah, the Westgate, off the strip, the sports book with the TVs, there are some good ones. Mandalay Bay is really, really good. There are some really, really good ones. But Westgate, man, they really, really, Circa, I know Circa is all the rage now downtown, but don't you like Westgate Sportsbook? It's really nice.
Yeah, no, it is. Jeff Sherman, great guy.
Okay, 3-2. Do you did you happen to see the Eagles?
I thought that you were setting me up to give him the plug.
Oh no, not at all. No, I'm being serious about all the TVs and everything.
It was awesome. We had a blast. It was. It is gigantic. Comfortable place to watch. So
yeah. I ain't looking for a comp.
It's been fun.
Yeah, we got different numbers if we need comps, and I think you and I have the same numbers. All right, at Russo Hockey's in Las Vegas, I'm not. What line? You tweeted about this and wrote about it earlier. What lineup changes could we see tonight for the Wild?
I think a lot of it might be just line changes. Like, I think Hartman's going to move up. I'll be curious to where Marco Rossi lands in the lineup. Whether he moves up or down. That line the other night wasn't very good. Does Nyquist stay in the lineup? So I think the blue line will be the same. The way it sounded yesterday, they're definitely going to continue to give Zeev Boyum a chance to get more and more comfortable in the lineup. I think it would be probably a really bad message to throw him into such a gauntlet the other night and take him right out. But up front, I think Hartman deserved to be elevated. I don't think you want to mess with the top line because Eriksson, Kaprizov, and Boldy were so good. But do you maybe move, create a second line that includes Hartman, Rossi, and Zuccarello? With Rossi maybe centering that line and Hartman on the right. Do you maybe put a Goudreau down on the third line or the fourth line, and do you maybe throw a Vinny Hinostroza in? I didn't like Gus Nyquist's game at all the other night. I don't think the coaches did either. He only played 10 minutes and 18 seconds. Obviously, a lot of that was because the Wild only had one penalty kill and it lasted 5 seconds. So we didn't get to see him there, and that is sometimes a chunk of his ice time. But when Rossi's playing 12 minutes and Nyquist is playing 10 minutes, you just know that John Hines isn't loving that line. And so I think the bottom six is a big difference in the series. I wrote about it today. Their fourth line of Nicholas Waugh, Keegan Colasar, and Brett Howden, who scored twice the other night, combined for 50 goals this year.
Wow.
And, obviously they weren't in fourth line roles when they scored that. But to have 50 goals on your fourth line because they deepened up the team at the trade deadline by adding Riley Smith again, it really puts the Wild, to me, in a disadvantage because, as we know, their bottom six hasn't scored a ton this year, and certainly they don't get a lot from their fourth line. So I do think that they're going to have to try to figure out a way to balance things out offensively.
We have a fill-in producer today in the shape of Brett Blakemore, and he's pining to ask questions. So let me lay it out like this. Michael, are you and Brett getting along these days? Because I've known you guys to argue.
We've been getting along royally probably for months, probably because of our love to rip on Pat Micheletti and Kevin Fallness.
Okay.
So that has bonded the two. That has bonded the two of us together.
Okay, good. Yeah, for sure. But you guys have gone at it verbally before, man, so I don't want to put him in the mix and all of a sudden have you become pissed off. So let me get a couple out here, then we'll let Double B jump in.
I think I refollowed him on Twitter.
Okay.
We're getting along.
I might have got the ceremonial mute on Twitter, but you'll never know.
That was the key. Jerkass! What do they like about Booyam on the power play? I mean, is it just like, because I think it's a cool place to start him, specifically in the postseason where, I mean, with all due respect, you don't get a ton of power play opportunities. But so therefore let's get him out there and have him kind of see it from a 5-on-4 standpoint.
Well, and especially you don't get a lot of power plays against Vegas, as we've all learned this year. They took an NHL few. They were shorthanded, the NHL record lowest in history, and we saw that in Game 1 where there were just a lot of not calls that probably should have been calls. So that's the one area where I was a little surprised that they would even play him, because you just knew you weren't going to get a lot of power play time, so you're committing to having to play him a lot of 5-on-5. But look, what he does so well is, he sees the ice incredibly. He's got incredible vision and stick handling ability, the way that he can walk the puck up the ice. Once he's in there, he just makes tremendous plays. His ability to slide along the blow line opens up lanes. This is what he does well, or what he did well at the college level. It's going to take him some time, as he learned last game, to try to learn that at this level. You've got to make split decisions and then act fast. And the other night, to me, he telegraphed that pass that he was trying to make to Boldy on the 6-on-5, and it was picked off by one of the best defensive forwards in the league in William Karlsson. And those are the things that he's going to, have to learn over time. Obviously, they felt confident enough to throw him in that position so quickly the other night over guys like Faber and Spurgeon. And, we'll never know if it cost them. Obviously, I mean, it was the best of Monday morning quarterbacking. A lot of people were confused on why he was on the ice in that situation. But the reality is that if you throw Faber or Spurgeon out there and you don't score, then everybody's ripping on John Hines for not putting Boyum out there. And why would you even have him in the lineup if you're not using him in those situations? So, it didn't work. But I think you got to continue to go by it. They've made their bed. They've decided to play him. And I think that we're going to continue to see him in the series. And the hope is that he's going to get better and better and more comfortable as the series goes along.
Why so few penalties called Sunday night?
Part of it, as you said, is the playoffs. But actually, if you look historically, the last 10 years, round one of the playoffs, there's usually a lot of calls as teams As we saw in the Ottawa-Toronto game the other night, as teams sort of, gain their footing. The other night, I don't know if it's a reputation thing. Like the other night, I think there were two things that converged. One, you have Ryan Hartman, who's got a, poor reputation in the league, a poor reputation with the refs. And I think that he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to anything from diving to just, having to earn his penalties. The other thing is I do think referees come into this building against this team knowing that they take so few penalties, knowing that they were shorthanded in NHL record fewest amount of times this year, and just go in and say, we're only going to call the egregious ones, because the other night there were some egregious penalties not called against them. And that's just a fact. And the biggest goal of the game was 5 seconds into that power play where Joel Eriksson took the penalty, and Gaudreau is just, absolutely egregiously, blatantly interfered with, literally picked off the ice and put down. It kept him from being late to going to the middle, and it caused Marcus Foligno to leave Dorofeev wide open. And then obviously we know that Gustafson froze there. And those are the penalties that got to be called. It just has to be. And I don't care if they're a disciplined team or not. These are two of the more disciplined teams in the league. The Wild took the 8th fewest penalties this year. But you got to call it. And I don't get why they're not called. The other, conversely, though, they're a 50-win team that didn't get a lot of power plays as well. And so at least the referees are sort of fair with Vegas. They don't give them a bunch, and they don't call them on a bunch.
All right, Double B, good luck.
Yeah, thank you. You mentioned how good the first line has been, Russo, and they're responsible for both goals. But do you feel like that kind of leaves, when you play Boldy and Kaprizov together, that the line combinations are kind of top heavy, because it leaves Rossi kind of on an island by himself? Do you think it'd be better to split them up?
Yeah, I do. I think it would be nice to see Zuccarello and Kaprizov back together again. I think that they go into the series and like to split them up because, one, they feel that's also spreading the wealth, but two, I think they feel that they get too east-west, and where the Wild are good when they're direct, and the one thing you do with Eriksson and Boldy is they are going north. They're not really playing an east-west style. But because they were so good the other night, I'll just be curious if they're willing to preemptively break it up. And we'll go to the morning skate today, which is the afternoon skate for you guys, and find out that the lines are changed, or if they just give it a little more time. But I agree with you. I think that what it does really is affect Rossi, because now he's on the third line where he's really miscast. He's playing with Gus Nyquist, who has not been good since he returned. I really would take him out of the lineup tonight. I don't like his game right now. The issue with him is that he is one of their best penalty killers. So you take him out, and then if suddenly you are actually being called on penalties, now you're taking one of your best penalty killers out of the lineup. But I think you got to play this series 5-on-5, and I don't think Gus Nyquist has been one of the worst 5-on-5 players in the league this year, and it showed in Nashville, and it's definitely reared its ugly head here. So. To your point, I do think that maybe mixing it up, putting Boldy and Eriksson together, and throwing maybe even a Hartman, Zuccarello, and Kaprizov, and reuniting that trio might be a smart move. Or you throw Rossi back there and try to drag him into the fight that way. We'll see today at the morning skate.
How about that OT win for Dallas yesterday? Holy cow!
Yeah, man, they played well. I watched that game, every second of it, and the one thing that was obvious is after McKinnon scored his first goal, he was really bottled up. He only had one shot the rest of the regulation. He had two, I believe, in overtime. But they played a really quality game, and that's a team that's ravaged by injuries right now with Heiskanen and J-Rob out of the lineup. And so, I thought Ottinger was excellent, especially there in overtime where he was tested really well. But it was a heck of a game, and I think it's going to be a long series in that one.
The 6-5 LA win over Edmonton last night, I didn't see any of it. What'd you like about that one?
I watched every minute of that one too, and man, did LA almost blow that game. They blew a 4-0 lead at home. Kemper looked like he was crumbling at the seams. It became 5-5, and then all of a sudden LA comes down and scores late, and then Edmonton had to pull its goalie again. But it looked like the Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl show for a while. Hyman scored a great goal. That series is going to be unbelievable, but that was one that got away from Edmonton because it looked like if that game got to overtime, if I was in a sports book at Westgate, I would probably throw everything I owned on Edmonton to finish that thing off because it looked like Kemper was just, if he had one more shot at him, it was going to go in. And obviously LA came up with a big goal on a flub shot by Philip Deneau as well. So it was a one entertaining, wild game. And we were almost treated to a double overtime of Colorado-Dallas at the same time as overtime of LA and Edmonton, and both games ended within a minute of each other.
You're elite, my brother. Safe travels. We'll talk soon, okay?
Yep, see you, bud. Take care.
Yep, Michael Russo at Russo Hockey, The Athletic, theathletic.com. Excellent work by he and Joe Smith. Joe, by the way, has a story about Foligno. It's off the 11 hits he had in game number 1. Joe's story is basically about Foligno overcoming, as he says, some dark days to get where he is now. Really, really good read at The Athletic and theathletic.com. To Los Angeles for Dane Moore of the Dane Moore NBA podcast. He chronicled the action from game number 1, Wolves dismantling of the Lakers. He'll be at crypto.com tonight. He'll be on 9 to noon next, but first.
The cash thing, the fan and bigdeck.com. I'm going to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Head to KFAN.com. Enter the keyword bills. The keyword is bills, KFAN.com.
This Mother's Day, wrap her in love with Miki Couture. Give mom the softest hug ever with one of our luxurious, cozy blankets. The perfect way to say, you are cherished, you are loved. From movie nights to quiet moments just for her, Miki Couture makes every day feel extra special. Shop now at MikiCouture.com or stop by one of our stores to find the perfect blanket for the perfect mom. Miki Couture. Wrap her in love this Mother's Day.
Word bill. KFAN and Custom One Exteriors want to give you a chance to catch the St. Paul Saints in action. Check out our contest page to see how you could win a 4-pack of tickets to the Saints game against the Scranton Rail Riders June 7th. KFAN.com, keyword contest center.
Hey, Dane, Paul Allen, how are you?
What's up, PA, man? I'm good.
What's up, bud? This is Dane Moore at Dane Moore NBA via the X Machine, Dane Moore NBA podcast, super good. The most recent one's the one with Jace, right? Jace Frederick?
Yep. We recorded yesterday. You know, we're killing time here in LA between long break of games.
Yeah.
But yeah, up there with Jace Frederick from Pioneer Press.
Yep, that's really cool. And you can learn more about it at Dane Moore NBA. How is SoCal? I mean, you've been there X amount of days from game 1 now to game 2 tonight. Do you enjoy yourself when you go out there?
Yeah, it's been cool. We kind of got the whole Wolves media crew out here, so you know how that goes. Bunch of dinners and stuff like that. It's busy down here. They got the Kings are playing at Crypto too, so it's something going on here every night.
Are you staying close to the team in Beverly Hills?
No, the team, that's what they do for the playoffs, which is probably smart, right? They kind of like get away. I know they did that in Phoenix last year too, where they stayed like 30, 40 minutes away from downtown. So they kind of bunker down. I am not doing that. I am around way too many people in LA Live. That's what different over out here. About
25 minutes from you to the west as the crow flies, but probably 45 with LA traffic. There's an Italian restaurant named Dan Tana's. It's either in Beverly Hills or Culver City. It's one of the two. But if you
we drove by it the other day.
Did you? If you can get into
Kilbourne,
if you can get into that place, ma'am, and I bet you Craig Kilbourne can get you in there. That food there, and it's like TMZ's outside of it and stuff. It's really, really a cool place.
I'm no longer with him, so I don't trust my own ability to be able to get in there.
Yeah, for sure, and it's wonderful. Do you get to the beaches much when you're out there?
No, we've been pretty much just staying around here. You know, I'm here for work, PA. Come on.
I understand that, but I mean the games are relatively late. What do you
that's fair.
with tonight's game? What do you expect from Rudy Gobert tonight? And he certainly wasn't bad in game one, but his minutes were down like 6 or 7 minutes. Nas's went up. Of course, you know all that. So I think Rudy's such a wild card into this game tonight. What do you expect?
Yeah, I mean, I think you go into this series, you want him to be a physical presence on the interior, right? Like, offensively, when you're thinking, you know what he's going to do defensively, and it's a big part of the series is about, how much can he help Jaden in pick and roll coverage against Luka, right? But we know that side of the ball. We know how that equation works, and Rudy's pretty good at that. Offensively, though, right, it was interesting because they need him you're looking for those little lobs, offensive rebounds. But, man, the Lakers packed it into the paint defensively in that game one, which I don't think was a terrible strategy by them, right? If you pack the paint, you take away some of Ant's driving game, Julius's will get to the lane, turn around, and you take away a lot of what Rudy can do offensively. So I thought that was smart by Redick and the Lakers, but the Wolves turned it on them by ignoring Rudy and ignoring, kind of Julius's at the basket game, and they just got to the middle and sprayed it out. So I think related to Rudy, we don't need to necessarily worry about his offensive game if that's the way that they're playing. Maybe get a couple more offensive rebounds, that sort of thing, but I don't think anybody is like, oh no, Rudy's not getting 15 touches. That's not him, right? It's actually, in a way, it removes that like overexposure of Rudy element that happens sometimes. You know what I mean?
Well, you get, and it's interesting the way you laid that out when you said like, good job by Redick. And you guys are at the game, so you're not hearing the TV broadcast or the radio like I am. And perhaps you know this, but into the third quarter, Redick was interviewed by whomever was carrying the game, ABC. And, he's like, they just got outscored 38-20. So into the third quarter, he's like, well, it's all effort or physicality or lack thereof with our guys. And then he said, it has nothing to do with scheme. That bugged me because you don't say that even if you believe it, because you say it and now all of a sudden those in the know are looking for it. And when you get a backdoor cut on an overmatched Vanderbilt, scheme. When you get Edwards penetrating to Luka's side when he's down by the block, knowing that he's lost, kick out McDaniels 3, scheme. So do you Finch and his staff, I mean, do you think they did a number on Redick in game number one?
Well, it was interesting, man. Just from pregame media with Redick before, he was prickly, like even before the game started. Like he was sharp. But yes, I think Finch's staff knew what they were going to do.
Right.
If you listen to the interviews that we were doing with him and the players last week, they knew it was going to be like the Phoenix series last year, right? They don't really have anybody who can guard Ant one-on-one. So you got to bring that help in there. You call that boxes and elbows, right? You have your two bigs down on the boxes next to the basket and your two help defenders up at the elbows, right? And the Wolves knew that was going to be the strategy and that it would make Ant probably not be a guy who can have 35, 45 points in a game because they're going to try to take that away. So what you have to do against that is you need to take advantage of the scheme, which they did. So that doesn't make sense. I think that's JJ just being angry because the Wolves definitely manipulated the Lakers scheme by drawing it in even further to the middle, kind of baiting them. And then it was Nas in the corner, Jaden in the corner, Nas in the corner like 4 more times. Particularly, I felt like the Lakers couldn't set up their defensive scheme when the Wolves got out in transition. And that's where it kind of the game shifted, right? Nas and Dante come in, they start running a little bit. And now it's like, how quick can we get to the middle? Okay, boom, boom. Someone's wide open in the corner. And obviously they hit 50% of their threes. I don't know if that's going to happen every game. But, yeah, the way Finch and his staff moved against that look, I thought was successful. I'm not
analytically inclined or it just, I don't pay attention to it with the NBA. And I know you do. And you distribute stuff that's very interesting, even if I don't completely understand. But you had a tweet earlier today or yesterday about the Wolves in transition, and I think like making 18, it was an 18% of something, and they're like 8 or 9 and 1 when they do that. And this is a day after, having Finch on 9 to noon yesterday and then chatting about the Wolves the majority of the show. and the transition threes that they hit, the offensive rebounds that they got and immediately knew kick out to three. There's a schematic part of the plan there too that I think JJ's overlooking. But what was that tweet and why was it impactful?
Well, basically, it's the Wolves do not run enough or did not run enough during the season. I know you got Rudy Gobert and whatever, but you also got Anthony Edwards and Nasreed and Julius Randle. You got all these guys who can get up the floor and play in transition, and the Wolves didn't do it. Did not do it consistently all season. Finch has said multiple times it's one of the things that annoyed him most about the regular season was their unwillingness to get out in transition. I think that's another, as Finch would say, there's some meat on the bone there for Ant to kind of seek those transition opportunities. But what I tweeted was 18% of the Wolves' possessions in game one came in transition. So about 1 in every 5. Yeah. That's a pretty high rate of getting out in transition. And when the Wolves got out in transition during the regular season in a game on 18% of their possessions or more, they went 8-1 in those games. So basically, when the Wolves did get out in transition during the regular season, they won. And it's something that they should do. It's particularly with Anthony, it's when the defense is designed in the half court to take him away, as we just walked through with that, that's a way to get easy buckets. Look to go, Ant. Look to find Ant with the hit-ahead pass, right? I remember I was rewatching the game, and I think Ant's first 6 shots were him just driving into the middle of the defense right in that first quarter, turnovers or taking tough shots. Well, Dante came into the game and immediately gets out in transition, finds Ant ahead on the left side, and Ant gets a transition layup. And that's what turned the game for Ant. It's he sometimes needs to be led to the water there, but obviously he's physically the type of player who can play in transition. So if they can help him do that and just overall play a little bit faster, under control but faster, then this team plays better offense when they do that, as do most teams, right? If you can get out and run without turning it over, you're going to score more efficiently.
That Dane Moore at Dane Moore NBA via Twitter, Dane Moore NBA podcast. It's fantastic. So make sure you watch it and learn more at Dane Moore NBA. Luka Doncic, his defense is, it's people have talked about it before. Sometimes it's non-existent. Luka in transition playing defense, specifically when his team's down 8 or more, shoulder slumped, chagrin on the countenance. He's just not interested. So, this is kind of an A topic, right? It's the run with the Wolves bit. Old people get tired, LeBron, and you got Luka with his substandard defense in the first place. It needs to be racehorse basketball to beat these Lakers, right?
Absolutely. And we at practice yesterday when we interviewed Finch, he brought up Rudy in particular as being somebody who helped them go. He was like, Rudy was running the floor every single time. And just, again, if you look at the Wolves roster and you would say, oh, why are they bottom 5 in the league in transition opportunities? You go, okay, they got Rudy Gobert. But if Rudy's committed to running as well, then there's no reason, there's no reason to slow down. What game one showed us is the Wolves are the more athletic team in this series by a lot. So use that, right? Take advantage of the age of LeBron. Take advantage of the fatigue of Doncic and the chagrin like you talked about. Game one taught us that the only way that the Lakers win this is through the mental side of it. The physical side of it is not close. The Wolves have that. And to play faster and more and continue to play physical, I think that's how you do wear this Lakers team down. And if it does end up being a 4 or 5 game series or something like that the Wolves win, yeah, I think that's what we look back on.
Dane, do they post up LeBron James much? And the reason I ask is because if they're looking to get to the line more and get physical and take the having the bully take the fight to the bully, Julius Randle. Randle doesn't care who LeBron James is. He plays the way he plays. He ain't afraid, and he's not going to back down. But I don't recall the Lakers posting up LeBron. He claps for it on the box and says, "Give it to me."
Yeah, I think the only way they can really use LeBron as an interior guy is, Jackson Hayes, their center, needs to be off the floor, and Vanderbilt probably does too, because neither of those guys can shoot, right? You cannot really only afford to have one player on the interior. So I think you're right. Like, that could be part of their answer, and I would agree with that, of like going even smaller and LeBron's your 5, right? And maybe you're even doing Luka LeBron pick and roll there. But you got to take Hayes and Vanderbilt off the floor, and Hayes is their only rim protector,
right? And
Vanderbilt, I think, is the only guy who can guard Ant. So it's the opportunity cost of that, right? And that's what I think Redick and his staff is looking at, of like, hey, we have these different lineup combinations, but a lot of them are about going smaller. And if we go small and the Wolves refuse to match us going small, which from talking to Finch, like, he's not going to just go small because the other team goes small, then the Wolves can punish them physically. So that's where I think they are between a rock and a hard place as the Lakers, of maybe they want to do more things with LeBron at the 5 or this and that. But I feel like every additional thing they want to do requires them to be smaller. And the Wolves roster is big and can, at least in game 1, took advantage of that.
All right. Lastly, what do you expect the Lakers to do tonight to have a better chance to win? I mean, who do you like and why tonight? And if offering more effort and or physicality is what the Lakers need to do to have it be a closer game, do you think that's possible this evening?
Yeah, I mean, the way I'm looking at it, I think a lot of people look at game 1 and they go, okay, Luka had 37 points and 1 assist, right? The 1 assist part of it sticks out. So people are looking at this game and being like, well, Luka needs to be more of a distributor. Like, maybe he has 25 and 11, right? And I hear that, but I think the pathway to Luka being a distributor is to first be a scorer. So if in the first quarter, what I would guess happens is he attacks, and he starts the game like a guy who's trying to get 50 tonight. And then if and when the defense, they adjust, and, if he's cooking in the first quarter, the first half, then the Wolves defense is going to adjust to bring the help. And then that's when I think Luka becomes the distributor, once he starts seeing 2 or 3 bodies, and now he's finding Finney Smith in the corner or Vincent above the break, whatever it might be. I think everybody's expecting Luka to be a distributor in this game, but I think the best thing for the Lakers is to try to make him be a scorer. I bet you he tries to get Jaden McDaniels in foul trouble early. Like, just going at it and setting the tone, a Luka tone at the beginning of the game that's what I would do if I was ready.
Hey, my man, have a wonderful day. Thank you very much for the time. I'll be tapping on you later this week or next week, and enjoy the game we'll be following, okay?
Appreciate you, man. Yep, have fun.
See you. Dane Moore at Dane Moore NBA. Final set.
When you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself, talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Segment next. Double B.
Yes, sir.
Did you hear Brock Faber's quote after the Las Vegas Golden Knights beat the Wild in Game 1?
I did not.
He said several things, and Brock's a pretty even keel guy, but I really liked the last thing he said. Here it is.
And I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Does he get his vengeance tonight, or do we have to wait till the next, which would be Game 3? Do you think the Wild can win tonight? The B.
I definitely think they can. I think they'll make a series out of it for sure. I think they played right with them. It was one of those games where if you want to be negative and if you want to, there's evidence to do so. And if you want to be a doomer, there's evidence to pull from. But if you want to be Captain Optimism, there's a lot of evidence to pull from that as well. So it's really up to the eye of the beholder. But I think they do have a really good chance to win tonight.
Okay, well, I'm not looking for CO or CN. I ain't looking for Captain Optimist or Captain Negative. I'm just looking for you to come from your heart. Would you, if you were betting $100, and that means that, you bet 100 on Vegas, and I don't know, let's say you scoop 45 if they win, 42. Mm-hmm. So 100 to collect 142, or 100 on the Wild to scoop 280, 290, plus 180-ish, 190-ish. Which way would you bet your money and why?
Well, I'd probably go Vegas just as some sadness insurance so that if they lose, then at least I win some money from it. But if they win, then I'll be happy. Right. So that's probably what I would do in all reality.
Sadness insurance with bets. That's terrific. Okay, well, here's the deal. The Wild are on KFAN this evening, and the game is at 10:15. Joe Woe and Tom Reed on lead vocals. 10:15. I mean, I don't care if you're okay. I'm 59 years of age. All right, the next show will have its teeth out at about 9:10, laying in bed. Just getting ready for the program the next day. So I can stay up late. I don't prefer to stay up late, but if I just don't understand this 10:15, man. 11:15. East Coast. I mean, you want to win Concrete Jungle ratings and you want to sell ads for like New York City to watch and stuff like that. Ain't nobody watching at 11:15 in New York City, man. I ain't kidding you.
Yeah, it's way too late.
Yep, but so Wild is on KFAN this evening, 10:15. Make sure you listen. 9 o'clock for the Wolves on the Timberwolves channel on the free iHeartRadio app. Speaking of the Timberwolves, 9 to noon has 2 tickets to Game 3 to be given away tomorrow. Plus, we have draft party tickets to be given away and just so much more. Make sure you listen to 9 to noon tomorrow when we start at 9. Nordo returns tomorrow. Thank you, Brett. Great work today, brother.
Thank you. Love working with you.
He's Double B, Brett Blakemore, and I'm Paul Allen. The program is next at FM 100.3 KFAN. Thank you for listening to KFAN. When you do, we greatly appreciate it. Bye.
Oh, good. Come on! We lucky we got 'em. Ooh! Good
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
Hello, darlings. Pack your suitcase for a new season of the Hulu original reality series Vanderpump Villa.
Let's do this. Ciao, it's Stassi. Of course Lisa brought in her favorite to be resident chaperone of the castle.
Stassi is an icon.
She's my eyes and ears.
I love this.
Get ready for the luxury and drama that awaits us in Italy.
Cheers to all the toxic couples in the castle.
Season 2 of Vanderpump Villa premieres April 24th.
Streaming on Hulu.
You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.